Hi everyone, I am Ted Wood, and what I'm going to be working with you on today is called behavioral selling. This is one of those unique situations where we're going to talk about something that is a true difference maker. You'll know as we go along that it'll pass a smell test, because this is a very empowered situation. Well, let's get right to work. Years ago, 1928, a gentleman by the name of Professor Marston did an experiment where he approached different dogs with a stick in his hands. The dogs exhibited one of four different kinds of behavior. We'll use dog number one on the left here, angry. They bit him, barked at him, that sort of thing. Number two, throw the stick, let's play. Third, they just kind of sat there, maybe even rolled over, didn't feel threatened, didn't make any appearance of feeling threatened, but not really wanting to do anything but just watch and see what's going on. The fourth and final behavior that they exhibited was to exit stage left in a hurry, to run away. And so what we're going to talk about today is the fact that these kinds of behaviors that we see in dogs, ironically, are the same kinds of behaviors that we see in people. Different for people than for dogs, don't get me wrong. Very few people are going to bite you unless they're in a boxing match and happen to be who. So we're going to work today with the dominant buyer. What happens when we're working with a dominant buyer? Reading a dominant buyer is what we're going to talk about first, and then we'll talk about how to react to what we observe. Can we recognize a dominant buyer from the other kinds of behaviors? I think so. We're also going to talk later about an influencer buyer. The next one is a steady buyer. Finally is the compliant buyer. But we're going to focus today on reading the dominant buyer. All right? Dominant buyers are fast-paced, but when we're talking about a sales presentation, it's more like, you hurry up, I'm late for a meeting, or I've got this going on or that going on. I haven't got a lot of time to give you. So you've got to be able to be on top of your game there. Okay. They are task-oriented people, not people-oriented. Okay, there's a world of difference. They have an objective they want to get done. The perception is maybe that they're stepping on people. I presented this to my wife, who is not dominant by any stretch of the imagination, and she said, well, I said, the perception is that they're stepping on people. She says, well, sometimes that's the reality. In fact, kind of got the feeling that she felt that was the reality quite a bit when dealing with dominant people. All right, so next is they're extroverted. Let's talk about how they are extroverted, because there's another behavior that's also extroverted, but kind of in a different way. These people are talkative, but on task, talking about what they want to talk about to get done. They're sociable, but as long as they're in charge, there can only be one king. They want to be the dominant person there. So they'll be sociable as long as you recognize them for their greatness. Outgoing, same song, second verse. Lively, absolutely, especially as it relates to being on task. Optimistic, their optimism will come down to having faith in you as a good salesperson once you convince them that that you know what you're doing. If you can do that, they're going to have a lot of faith. They're going to be very optimistic that you're going to get the job done right. You got to get it done right. Touchy. I'm not talking about touching them physically, but that they're touchy. In other words, they're very, very short fuse. They are active along a very task-oriented line. They're extremely assertive people, no doubt about that. They're controlling people. The dominant emotion that drives a dominant buyer is anger. So, did you ever spot the glare of power when you look at these people? A lot of times you'll see that you know what you're dealing with as a dominant person when you see that glare of power in their eyes. And the anger is very short fused, so you've got to be careful how you deal with them. They can be the fastest sale you ever made if you can grasp what they're looking for, okay? Writing the order from a dominant buyer. We've figured out how to recognize the dominant buyer, hopefully. Let me know if that's not happening here for you. But how do you convince them to write the order? Okay, dominant buyers trust you if you appear competent. And remember, there can only be one king. Bow, kneel, curtsy, whatever, but with dignity. They're not looking for Bozo the Clown. They're not looking for some pleb. They're looking for someone who is extremely competent, but acknowledges that they're the power. Okay? Dominant buyers are impatient, controlling, and task-oriented. You'll notice they're very, very high-strung in that they're fidgeting with whatever's around. They got keys, they're jiggling them. Got a pen, they're clicking them. A cigarette lighter, like in The Godfather, where Corleone had the cigarette lighter, and he's talking to the owner of the casino in Vegas, trying to convince him that wants to buy his hotel. All the while he's getting told no, he can't have it, and he's fidgeting with that cigarette lighter while he's listening, or not listening, as the case may be. But at any rate, that other guy ends up, don't want to give you the spoiler alert, but I think those of you who've seen it, you know what happens to him. Okay, your move when you're dealing with dominant buyers is that you don't beat around the bush. You limit idle chit-chat. They're not here to try to be your friend, okay? And you're not here to try to be their friend. They're impatient, they're controlling, they're task-oriented. You've got to fearlessly stick to the facts. Be neat and well-organized. You'd be amazed how quickly you can get them to come around if they think one way and you can document it's another way. There's a lot of behaviors that you can't do that, but here they're interested in getting it right. So if you can show them the truth, they're all over it. All right. No fuzzy, unresolved issues. And again, do not try to develop a personal relationship with these people. All right. Your move. They do not focus on details, but they expect you to handle the details. They don't want to get hung up in details, but they want all the details to be handled. That's what they're looking for you to do, to make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and they're getting what they had a vision of when they came in. Again, they're very vision-oriented people too. Your move, don't be a wimp. They will make fast, on-the-spot decisions. Okay, so we're going to go after that. We're going to try to get a sale here. How do we do that? Well, may I summarize what we agree on so far? Find out where you stand with them. If I can get you the lupas with the dupas and the supas, can we go ahead now with this? That's, if I can get you all this stuff that you said, are you okay with it? And usually they're not even looking for a lot of stuff. They got one specific thing they want, but they want to make sure they're getting everything else too. All right, so that's your job, okay? Where do we go from here? That's a good question to ask them. Why do I think you're angry with me? That's another good question if things are kind of drifting out of control there. All right? I think I upset you. I'd like to get back on track. Where do we go from here? This is the kind of approach that you can take with a dominant buyer that will be very effective for you. I'm not afraid to just tell you what they want and where they're coming from. All right. You should have the deal in your pocket now. if you're paying attention. You may need to go over this 2 or 3 times to make sure that you've got it. But reading the dominant buyer should be pretty easy. They're very focused on what they want. They're telling you. It's just kind of, if you get this and do this right, in the right way, with the right, you got to be fast paced. You got to be, modeling their behavior. You got to be doing things the way they would want you to do them, but recognizing that they are the king. All right. This is the end. Our next lesson will be on the influence buyer. And to receive information on scholarship, behavioral selling products, or products and services, etc., just email Coach Ted Wood at Gmail. Please like and subscribe to this video. I want to work with you. I'd like to be able to be helpful to you. If you're a sales manager, this kind of material can very, very much affect your people in a very positive way. I've been doing this for years, and I've had a lot of positive response from even those macho buyers that don't think they got anything to learn. When I had one guy, which you'd have never expected of him, he actually broke down in tears and said, behavioral selling changed my life, is what he said. It just changed his life, because now he could see where he was going wrong with the, matching and modeling the behaviors of people. All right, well, God bless you. Stay in touch. Coach Ted Wood at Gmail. If you need something in a hurry, you can call me on my cell. It's 801-664-6147. I don't print that because I don't need I don't want to be on everybody's list. God bless you. Have a good. See you. Bye.